All right, we are going to get right to it. Welcome. It's good to see your faces. If you can turn your video on, if you can't, that's totally okay. You don't have to. It just makes it more fun for me because then I'm not like talking to like no one. But if you can't because you're naked or you're just doing life in a way that feels weird and you don't want to have it on screen, you don't have to turn it on. But just makes it more fun. And then plus you guys can see each other. Um, like we would never know what Tara's doing if her screen wasn't on. She's got carrot shreds. Is that what I'm seeing?
And
Yes.
I too.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple quick announcements, and then we're gonna get into the topic of the week. And so announcement number one is the challenge is live. Just a reminder that if you want to join, you do not have to, but if you want to join the challenge, you can. And so the link is in the Facebook group, a bunch of different places. I want you to join if you really want to do it. Now, remember, this is going to be available to you guys at all times. And so talk to your coach and think like, is this something that's going to help me right now to have this, target? Because what you do is you're going to work towards 100 Fitme plates, 50 workout or movement sessions, and 10 weeks of meal prep or planning. I mean, these are the basics. These are things you're already doing. But if you need kind of like a little bit extra, then join the challenge. That's what it's there for. We literally just did a 30-minute meal prep together as a part of the challenge. And so it was, 45 minutes ago we started, we did half an hour, and then now we're here. And so this can be something that is just a part of your week. You could be like, on Sundays I do that, and then I do this, and then I'm squared away for the week. The challenge is open to anyone. It's just only complimentary to Fitme clients. So there's no charge for you guys. But if you have a friend or something who wants to jump in, this would be a great way for them to get started because they have the targets, but they also get live calls, they get coaching, they get a private community to kind of get some of the things that you guys are experiencing, but it's a great first step. And so if you have somebody who wants to join, just link them up with me and I'd be happy to answer their questions. So that's announcement number one. Announcement number two is the Fitme event. Signups are still open. And so event is like 2 months away. It's not even that far away. And we're going to have the best time ever. And so if you aren't sure about the event, you have questions, you're like, should I go? I have no idea how I get there or who's going to get me at the airport. Like, don't let logistics stop you. We will figure that out. We will help you, but we would love to see you there. And so if you're even remotely thinking about it, like reach out to your coach and have that conversation, or reach out to me and I can answer your questions. And then last, announcement number three is our give back event. Signups start this week. So this is our third give back event. Sorry, that was weird. I did like a Georgia, like, how old are you? 2. And then like the third finger popped up. This is our third give back event, I think. So as one of our, I feel like our strengths in Fitme, maybe the strength is us as a community. Like we're all doing this because we want to feel good in our skin. We want to feel healthy. We want to take care of ourselves, but we also are connected to each other. It's not like an individual situation. And so when we're connected together, we actually have power to do things. It's one of the things that makes communities really impactful. And so we, from the very beginning, we decided we were going to take at least once a year and do a give back. And we're going to do it again this summer. And this one, I think, is going to be what we settle in on as our like reoccurring theme of what we do. And here's what it is. So first off, we are raising money. We set a goal of raising $5,000 for a nonprofit that helps inner city kids in Baltimore go to this really cool camp and learn how to eat healthy food. And how to, they get to be on this farm, they get to do this whole situation. And so we are going to raise money for them to send kids to this camp. And the way that we're going to do that is a Fitme marathon. And so, 26.2 miles. And so the way that I want you to think about that, though, is that we're going to do it Fitme style, which means you have a whole week to do the marathon. And you're still doing a marathon. So make no doubt about it. 26.2 miles is a serious commitment, but you can run, you can bike, you can walk, you can hike it, you can swim it. If you're Amy, you can do whatever it is that you want to do to complete your marathon. And so you can sign up. You're going to get a really cool gift from us for participating, and you can contribute what's right for you. So we have like a suggested donation. You can go over that or you can go under that. You can choose what's best for you. And you can choose what's best for you in terms of your distance also. So if you're like, I'm doing it, but it's going to take me 2 weeks, I'm not going to tell you no. You can do it. Just spread it out over 2 weeks. If you're like, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to split it with Natika. She's going to do half and I'm going to do half. That's also okay. But just know, like, you'll probably see the Fitme marathon show up over and over again, and use it like a benchmark. If this year you have to split it, then next year, see if you can do the whole thing on your own. Or if this year, maybe you work towards a 26.2 and you only get 18 done, but next year, maybe you get further. And so it can be something fun for you to build up to over time. So that's how the give back event is going to work. Natika was like, yep, I'll split it with you. And so again, you can row, bike, run, swim, anything, and you can recruit other people to participate. So I think like if you live near people who are in Fitme, there's probably going to be some, get-togethers, but if you don't, then just collect some people and tell them what we're doing and see if they'll walk or swim or run or bike or whatever with you, and participate. And they can also sign up and donate too. And so if they're into it, they can participate. So watch for those signups to start this week. And I think that's it. So those are 3 announcements: challenge, Fitme event, and Fitme marathon. Any questions on those things? And then we'll jump into our topic for the week. Sweet. All right. So topic for the week is one that comes straight from you guys, really. It comes from one of the biggest things that I read over and over again as an obstacle. So when you first start Fitme and you take that assessment, and it's like, you fill out all those questions to nutrition, and then all the ones about exercise, and then all the ones about boundaries and body image. And I'm like, what's your biggest obstacle stopping you from, reaching your goals in these categories? One of the biggest ones that people say is time. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And we're going to talk about time and how we make our workouts fit into our actual life and our schedule. And what do we do if we don't feel like we have time to work out? And so this is going to be me giving you some structure, but then also I think that some of the most compelling tips for this are going to come from you. And so I want to save time at the end for you to share, because if you are someone who used to feel like you didn't have time and you've figured out how to have time, then you probably have secrets to share that other people might need to hear. And so again, this comes straight from I think this is probably like top 3 of obstacles people tell me that's hard for them is time. So the first thing that you have to know about time is that I want you to think about it like a budget that you have to spend every dollar. So imagine each day you get $24, 24 hours. And every single day you spend all of those dollars. You spend every cent every day. You do it. Whether you think you do it or not, whether you want to do it or not, you are spending those dollars and cents on something. Our time is probably our most precious resource. And so when we think to ourselves, well, I know I need to work out. I know I need to start walking. I don't have time. The very first thing we have to address is, what are we spending our time on? Because we're spending it just like a dollar, just like money. It's all going somewhere, because we actually are going to need to decide to spend it on this instead. And so we actually have to account for what we're currently spending it on. So if you want, I actually can send you guys a time audit. So when I did that like productivity training a couple months ago, there was a time audit in there and you could use that. But that would be the first thing that you need to do, because we have to make a swap. Now, next, I want you to think about what kind of expectations you have for working out and how it connects to your goals. And this is a coach conversation. This is I need to talk to my coach and figure out, is this actually in alignment with my goals? Because you might be saying like, oh, I only have time. Now that I've looked at it, I know I can fit in this amount, but is that actually in alignment with what you want? right? If you're only squeezing in 2 30-minute sessions, that's not bad if you're starting at 0, but it may not be in line with what you actually said your goals are. And one of the most important things is to know that and say, okay, I need to carve out more time. I just don't have it yet. And I know that I'm not going to get, stronger right now the way I want to get stronger because I'm not spending enough time to do it. And so just kind of having that, like, how much time do I need to spend moving my body for my goals? If you don't know the answer to that, that's also the first part of this solution. So 1, where are you spending your time? 2, how much time do you need to spend on working out and exercising to get to your goals? Or at least let's set an initial benchmark, because it's going to change from season to season. I'm going to tell you right now that I do not work out the same amount of time now that I did when I was before Georgia was born, or before I started coaching with Fitme. Like, my time allocation is just different. And so it's okay if it's different from season to season. Questions so far? Now, what I want you to do with the where am I spending my time is there anything on there that we can cut out? How much time are we spending? Truly honest with ourselves. I know there's certain things we can't. There's certain things that are just there's nothing I can do about it. It's taking my time. But how much time are we spending scrolling? How much time are we spending watching Netflix at the end of the day? How much time are we spending doing these other things? And again, I'm not saying those things are bad. I'm just saying, we have to have that sort of, honest conversation with ourselves. If we say we don't have enough time, then where are we spending our time? And now that we know where we're spending our time, what's the thing that we can cut? That, because we're going to have to make an exchange. We can't make more hours. There's no more dollars in the day. So what are we going to cut? Something has to go. And here's where the magic happens. So you're like, okay, fine, Christy. I spend, an hour or 2 at night, decompressing my brain and scrolling or watching Netflix. And I need that time because my brain's tired at the end of the day. So you're telling me that, and I hear you. But you're also telling me you want this other thing, right? You want to feel stronger. You want to have you want to be able to see your muscle definition. You want to have either weight loss speed up, or you want to feel healthier or have more energy. So we know we got to move our body and got to work out. So then it's okay, we're not going to put the workout at the end of the day, right? So it's not an exact exchange. It's not like I can say, okay, well, you used to watch Netflix at 9 p.m. and now we're going to work out instead. Because you just told me your brains are busted and you're tired at the end of the day. And working out is hard for you right now. So we actually need to put it in your day where you have capacity to have energy for it. And for most people, that's going to be as early in your day as possible. And so what this means is it might shift things, right? So say you have a 6 a.m. wake up. 6 a.m. is when you have to wake up. Get people rolling, get to work, whatever. Okay. And you used to go to bed at 10:30 and you spent an hour and a half at night screwing around because you just needed it at the end of the day to relax. And now we're saying, okay, we're going to carve out 45 minutes, 5 days a week, 45 minutes to do some strength work or to do some walking or to do some, fitness class at the gym or whatever. We're carving out time, and we're going to do it early in the day, because we need to do it as early as possible. So what if I have to wake up earlier? That's one option. What does that mean? And again, I'm just kind of playing out the scenario for you. But if that means you have to wake up at 5, just hear me out. I don't like to wake up early, so just hear me out on this. But say you're this is the only way it's going to fit in. If I wake up at 5, I could do it at 5 in the morning, because then I could do it and take a shower and get ready for my day. What that means is we're just going to bump our bedtime that way. So instead of 10:30, you're going to go to bed at 9:30. And instead of spending an hour and a half on Netflix, you might only spend half an hour. And then you go to sleep because you got to wake up early to get your movement in, your workout in. I'm giving you the tough coach love right now. I'm giving you like the worst case scenario, because best case scenarios, you're like, I have all the time in the world and I just didn't put it in there. Okay, that's best case scenario. Then you win. Just pick a time, put it in your calendar, get an accountability, tell your coach, that you're going to do it, and then do it. But this is specifically for like, I have no time. And so I wanted to break down those steps: time audit, and then thinking about what you're going to exchange, thinking about where you're going to put it in your day so that you have the capacity to follow through on it. And then go ahead and make adjustments to your calendar accordingly. And then again, like at night when you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm tired, go to bed. Really, at the end of the day, when our brains are tired and we're like wasting time scrolling, and I'm only saying this out loud because I do this too, so I know exactly how it feels. I'm not judging, because this is exactly what my brain does. I'm tired. I'm maxed out from my kids and from doing all the things. And then at the end of the day, I waste time and I stay up late on my phone, and I'm tired. I could just go to bed. And if I went to bed, I could get up earlier. And so maybe it doesn't mean that I cut out my phone altogether. Probably wouldn't be sustainable for me. I'd probably quit that after a little while. But if I can give myself a hard bedtime because I have a hard wake up time, that does work for me. So now inside of your actual calendar, your real life, there's no like hack I can give you. This is going to have to be a conversation with your coach where you look at your calendar and you say, I don't feel like I have time to fit this in. And your coach can help you look at your calendar and help figure out and get creative. And again, it's not necessarily going to be the perfect version. And so that all or nothing mindset wants to be like, well, I'll wait till I have time. You can't wait till you have time. You're never going to have time. You're always going to spend those dollars, those time dollars on anything and everything. You're never going to have time. You have to create it now. That's why you're doing this, is so that you can feel better now. And so even if your life is chaotic, brainstorm with your coach, get creative and scrappy. How are you going to fit it in? And so that's how there is no hack. Like, that's the moral of the story. The moral of the story is doing the work. How are you going to fit it in? And what are you willing to exchange? And then being strategic about, yes, putting it earlier in your day. Those are things that are like pro tips, but the truth of it is that get scrappy, get with your coach, make a game plan of how it's going to work for this season right now. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be your dream amount. And then start to follow through on it. So I wanted to leave time to open this up at the end just to talk about it. Is there anybody who's on this call right now who used to feel like they had no time and then made changes, and then now they consistently move or work out? And I would love to hear like what you had to do that.
I'll go.
All right, Marlena.
So when was it? January last year, I started a new job, and the new job gave me all this extra time. So I thought I was going to have all the time in the world to get workouts in, but I really struggled with it because I was trying to fit them in at the end of the day. And in New Mexico, it gets really hot, and I was just not wanting to get them in. I wasn't waking up that early, so I didn't want to do it in the morning. And I think it was around last summer, I just decided that I needed to fit it in more. And I think I had a challenge during the summer and I had a goal, so I had to do something. The time I chose was 4 a.m. I'm a morning person, and my day typically starts like at 5. That's when I like to get up ready, and I like to have a really slow morning. But when I get home from work in the end of the day, I don't want to do anything. So that was really my only option, was to get up an hour before I normally get up. And I started last summer and I've continued ever since. But yeah, just finding the right time that works for you. 4 a.m. doesn't work for everybody, but evenings don't either. I'm walking in the evening and I don't like it. It's too hot. It's not when I want to be out here. So that's the only time that worked for me.
I like it. I love how honest you are about it too. One, you're like, I need to do it. It's too hot and I don't want to do it at night. And so you just picked a time that you could do it. And then you challenged yourself to do it consistently. And I think that's the easy thing to like overlook, is it is hard in the beginning to create consistency. You have to have some sort of structure in the beginning to carve out that time, whether that is like committing to doing it, you know, like a challenge style, like maybe you're doing the challenge, you're like, I'm going to do 100 of these and I'm going to get it done this way, this timeline. But I think, like, again, once you're in a groove, then you can keep going. You don't necessarily have to have that forever. But I love that, Marlena. And I think when you started doing that, I was like, wow. I was like, she is up posting her run or workout every morning at 4 a.m. And it is no accident that you have the momentum you have.
I'll go, Christy.
Yeah.
So for me, it started with COVID and they kicked us out of the swimming pool. So my daughter swam. So when they kicked us out, most parents just went and sat in the car. I started walking. And so that used to be an hour, 15 minutes that I was sitting, reading a book and watching. And instead now at that hour and 15 minutes, I'm either walking or I'm at the gym. So it's no longer a wasted hour and 15 minutes. And my kid didn't care that I wasn't there watching. I could look in the window every now and then. She's satisfied to just see me do that as I walk in circles around that building to get my steps.
That's a good one. I think it's good because it's creative. It's like your real life, and you're kind of taking advantage of time you were already spending. So it's a 2-for-1. Yeah. You don't have to be like, well, I can't take her to sports, so I'm going to have to walk instead. It's like, I can walk and take her to sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you used to do the same thing. That's the same strategy you did back in the day when you used to do meetings and like walk around your pool a couple times.
I was going to add that because most people put those meetings on your calendar for an hour. They last 30 minutes. I always take the extra time and go for a walk around the yard.
Yeah.
It's already blocked off on my calendar. Hey.
Mm-hmm. It's like bonus time. So that's a good way to think of it, is you might have time that you didn't, like freebie time that was supposed to be spent on something, you get it back. Like, can you spend it moving your body? Nice. Anybody else?
I'll share.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're totally eating dinner. So we have 4 children. And so I have to, the first thing I have to do is kind of schedule my workouts for the week. And I pretty typically keep them the same unless it's like a different week. And like this week is VBS week. And so Vacation Bible School. So we're going to be there and it changes a lot of my workouts. And so just talk to Leighton because I have to make sure, is this time going to work? And so just kind of letting him know, this is when I'm going to work out. This is what I'm planning on for the week. And just communicating that. So I have to think it through. It's almost like meal prep for me. I have to go back so many days so I can go forward and be set up for the week. Because if I don't do that, then it won't happen.
Yeah, that's a really good one. You're looking at your week this week, even like I'm talking about like, oh, seasons. You're like, no, I got to figure out how it's going to work this week. Mm-hmm. Making time for it and talking to the people in your life to help coordinate it is key. which made me think of a strategy that I didn't say. And this one is, you can just underline this and underline it and then underline it again. You can write it in marker on your forehead. Ask for it. Women notoriously do not ask for what they need because we make the assumption that it's asking too much, or that we're going to be told no, or that we're not like holding the, the weight that we're supposed to be holding. And so sometimes making time means asking for it. Ask your boss if they care if you're sitting at your desk at lunch. And if they're like, of course not, then go for a walk. Or ask if you can leave early. Say, you may have made the assumption that they expect something, but you're like, I would really love to make the 5 o'clock class. If I could only leave 20 minutes early, I could make it. Ask for it. Ask for your family to help support you and do something so that you have time to work out. And that's why I say ask for it, underline it, remind yourself over and over and over again. Because I know that one's hard. But this could be like the missing piece, because you might be telling yourself a bunch of stories about the obligations and time commitments that you think that you have, but that if you just ask for some time, you could get it back. And that might be the perfect way to end.
I had to set a different type of boundary with work. Where I had to say that I am leaving at the end of the day and protect that time for. So, because I can get caught up in work, I can get caught up in work and lose track of time. And I just had to stop and say, I'm leaving at 5:30 and I'm going straight to the gym for 30 minutes. And then I'm still getting home at the same time. I'm still getting dinner in at the same time. Nothing changed other than me setting that boundary at work. And I've started with 2 days a week and building on that, because I love work and I can get lost in it.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of asking my boss for it, I've had to tell myself, I'm done. I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm. That's another way of like, it's the other side of the ask for it. It's your own expectations and that staying there longer, and you love your job and so you want to do it, or maybe you just feel like you need to do the things. And so it's a boundary. And I love the way that you said that. That's perfect. Setting a boundary. This is where my day ends so that I have time to do these other things that I need to do. Sometimes when we set boundaries like that, it makes us a lot more efficient because we procrastinate and extend how long things take. But if we have a, drop dead 4 o'clock, I'm done, then you move faster. We tend to fill the time that we allocate for things. Sweet, guys. So only you can know if this is a thing for you. Like if you are somebody who is struggling with this time piece, I encourage you to have a conversation with your coach this week about it. Especially if you're listening to the replay and you're like, yep, that's me. Have a conversation with your coach about this. You may need to do a time audit. You may need to use some of the strategies we talked about on this call. And at the end of the day, and so it is not all or nothing. And get scrappy and start to create that time. This is one of those things where once it's in place, everybody assumes that it's always in place. They look at people who are doing workouts frequently or walking all the time, or who get up every morning at 4 a.m. like Marlena and think they just came out of the box that way. And that is not true. Creating that habit and carving out time for yourself, that in this season, it does take effort and work. And I would be lying to you if I didn't say it. But once you do have it, it does get to be a little bit more doable, because that time now you're accustomed to spending it on moving your body. And so reach out to your coach if you have any questions, or and if you would like that time audit, I can get that to you. So just shoot me a message and I'll send it your way. I did a productivity procrastination training a couple months ago, and I made this PDF that goes with it, and it has a bunch of things in there related to time. And so I can send it to you. I think that's it. So let's take a picture real quick. If you can turn your screen on, we're just going to do like a super fast smile. Okay. Alrighty. 1, 2, 3. Got it. All right, guys. Have a fantastic week. Great to see your faces. Good job being here. And I will talk to y'all soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.